Hey, everybody, it's Ed Kirchstoffer, Chief Operating Officer here at MPAC. And today is a bonus mini Zoomcast. I had the opportunity to speak with Paul Crook, the producer, creator, and lead guitarist for Celebrating Meat Loaf, coming to MPAC on Saturday, October 28th. Here are some excerpts from that interview. And I do want to apologize in advance. There's a couple of naughty words in there. So if you have the kids around, just be careful. We're back on the Zoomcast. I'm Ed Kirchstoffer, Chief Operating Officer, Mayo Performing Arts Center, joined right now by Paul Crook, the creator and producer of Celebrating Meat Loaf. Paul, welcome. Nice to have you.
Nice to be seen, man. Nice to meet you.
Tell us a little about Celebrating Meat Loaf.
Well, a little. I guess we can talk about its origin. We were, when I say we, I mean Meat Loaf, the band with the boss, Meat. We were touring 2016, I believe it was, in Canada. We got to Edmonton, Canada, and Meat Loaf passed out on stage, which isn't scary. The guy drops every night. He's been dropping to the ground every performance since '77, maybe even prior.
It actually happened at our theater back in, I think, 2011 or 2012. He passed out on stage.
Well, okay, so he passed out in Edmonton, and that was June 2016. We had a full tour starting in August, all through England and Europe. That all got canceled because he couldn't come out of it. Basically, he had to go through a few back surgeries, and so now we're in June 2017. We haven't had any work, nothing. The band's panicking, so I called the boss. Said, "Hey, boss, we're losing the band. I'm going to take him out on the road. I'm going to find another guy to front so we can do Meat Loaf songs and keep the band, oiled for you for when you're ready to come back. We'll just step in, and it turns right back into a Meat Loaf show or tour." And a little back and forth. He goes, "Great, So we did it, set it up. That was 5 years ago now that I first spoke with Caleb Johnson. So Meat was alive and well when this all went down, and we had his full blessing. And we were out there for a couple of years working, waiting for him to come back. And there was some talk about him coming back here or there. We had some hopeful things, but it never happened. And then we lost him on January 22nd, I'm sorry, January 20th, 22, excuse me. And so all I got to say about Celebrating Meat Loaf is that I'm grateful that this was happening before we lost him, because the fans know that we're not trying to capitalize on the loss of our boss. We love and miss him very much.
How long have you been with? How long of an association did you have with Meat Loaf?
I've been working with him for 23 years. Produced last few records, all the live mixes for live release, DVDs. I've done all those, and I'm his music director and lead guitar player. So we lost him, and now we're just doing all we can to celebrate him. And we're going to keep him alive, and we're going to keep doing it until people stop showing up.
And it's important, and I think it's important that people know this is not a tribute band.
That's right.
This is Meat Loaf's band. That's right. If he was alive, this is who he would be performing with, and it's not five guys off the street, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we play songs that we've recorded with him. You can't tribute yourself.
How did you begin an association with Caleb Johnson, and what was it about him that made him like the ideal substitute?
That was I guess you can call serendipity. When I put the one sheet together for this production, I sent it out to all of my agency friends around the country, and it just so happened that it went across the desk of Caleb's agent at just the right time. He was actually in Nashville, and he caught Queen with Adam Lambert. He then called his agent saying, "I want to do a Meat Loaf show." When he was on Idol, he was compared to Meat Loaf, and even Meat Loaf congratulated him when he won. Because people were comparing him. "Hey, Meat, you won." It was a joke, actually. You can find it. And so it just worked where my one sheet went across his agent's desk. His agent said, "Hey, I got this." Next thing you know, I'm on the phone with him. And then he was up in Jersey because he's from Asheville, North Carolina. He was up in Jersey less than a month later, and we recorded the entire Bat Out of Hell album, which we're going to play live for all you people that are listening right now.
Now, Bat Out of Hell, how difficult of an album is that as a musician? How difficult is that album to play, or is it an easy album to play? It must be a fun album to play.
Well, right now it's a piece of cake for us because it's all muscle memory. First got the call. I was in the band called Anthrax, 90s, a thrash metal band. I left that band, and then I got a phone call from Kazim Sultan, who at that time, this was 2002. At that time, he was the music director for Meat Loaf, and he asked me if I would be interested in auditioning. I said, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great." They were auditioning, in Manhattan. He said, "Okay, well, we're going to send you a board tape, a board mix from the show a couple of days ago." So I got a CD in the mail, and he said, "Learn Paradise by the Dashboard Light and learn Bat Out of Hell." I was like, "Okay, great." So I get the CD, and I'm kind of scrolling through the show, and I come up to Paradise, and I'm listening to it going, "Wow, this is a lot of changes in here." It was 27 minutes long. I was like, "Oh my God." Then I went to Bat Out of Hell, and that was 15 minutes long. It's like, oh my God, I got 2 weeks to learn this. So I remember Paradise, both Paradise and Bat Out of Hell each one took me 3 days to learn, just to get through it. So after the seventh day, a week later, I'm actually playing through them without stopping finally. And then, I don't know, like a day or two later, my audition's there. I go into, where were we? SIR in 25th Street in Lower Manhattan, right? And I go in, and here comes Meat Loaf. Well, the band's in there. I set my stuff up, and everybody's really nice. And here comes Meat Loaf. He walks in the room, and he looked amazing. He came in with this long pea coat, like almost down to his ankles. And he just looked incredible. He looked like the president almost, just really sharp man. Came in, he was very nice, very friendly, shook my hand, and I turned around, he goes, "Okay," points, goes, "Bat." And we kicked into Bat Out of Hell, which is incredibly challenging. We're talking about Todd Rundgren guitar parts, and we're talking about Jim Steinman key changes. The chord melody and chord is insane. The chords never repeat themselves. The verses, every time a verse comes around, it's a different chord structure. It's intelligent songwriting. Challenging. All right, so we finished Bat. He turns around, he goes, "Good job." He goes, "Paradise." Bang. We hit Paradise. He turns around, he claps. Excuse me, he didn't clap there. He turned around and said, "Thank you very much, Paul." And he looks at Chasm. He goes, I want to keep singing. Let's do the rest of the set." And I say, cockily, I guess you could say the word is. That's a bad word. That's pretty confidently. That's a better word. Cocky and confident. And I said, "Well, I know the whole show because I learned the whole show. I decided to do the whole thing when I had the disc." And he looks at me like all confused, and he goes, "Go." Bang, top of the show, did the whole 2 hour and 15-minute show without stopping. And he turns around, he starts clapping. I'll see you in Germany next Thursday." And he left. That's the gig. By going past what I was told to learn.
Were you a fan of Meat Loaf growing up?
Not really. I remember as a kid, I remember vividly holding the Bat Out of Hell album, thinking it was really cool. Looking at it, this is the coolest cover I've ever seen. My brother borrowed it from a friend, and I listened to it as a kid. We're going back, I was like 10 years old. But growing up and playing guitar, I was more focused on metal. I come from Van Halen, Queen, Sabbath, Skinner, AC/DC. That's where I went.
What is something about him that people would not expect to know, that only someone who worked with him would know?
Wow. He's crazy.
In what way?
Guy was batshit crazy. He was such a rock star. You know, he lived it. Like, you would never know it looking at him. He looked so reserved, and you talk to him. He was such a Southern gentleman. You know, very polite man. Always, like, you know, just going out with him, walking in the street. You know, going into a grocery store. We did that a lot because we lived together a lot, making records together. We'd rent houses together, just he and I. You know, just going, you know, grocery store, whatever. He was always very, very polite. But he was crazy. Madman, you know, passionate, incredible temper. When it came to his stage and his music, you want to piss him off, you tell him how to work a stage, and he'll rip your face off, you know. So you had the teddy bear, Meat Loaf, who people usually see. And then you had Grizzly Bear, who I saw, and you know, and promoters see and agents see, you know. Yeah, that Grizzly Bear is kind of scary at times. but the teddy bear made up for it. You know what I mean? Always.
Those are some excerpts from my interview with Paul Crook, the creator, producer, and lead guitarist of Celebrating Meat Loaf, coming this Saturday, October 28th. Tickets are available at mayoarts.org, and we will see you at the theater soon.